Welcome back to the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. We've been rolling out the interviews quite a bit lately. Yesterday we had on Travarius Ward, defensive back out of Middle Tennessee State University. That was an audio-only interview. You could check that out at NFLDraftBible.com or directly on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Christian RE722. And it is a pleasure to now be joined by 2018 NFL draft prospect. He is a tight end turned defensive end out of Eastern Illinois University. He's Mack Weaver. And Mack, we really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to chat this weekend. We are less than a month away, about 3 weeks away, a little over 3 weeks away from the 2018 NFL draft. What's this process been like for you, man?
It's been great. It's a little different. Every guy dreams about going through this process, just being able to have the opportunity to go through the NFL draft. But it's definitely been great being able to showcase my talent and just really have the opportunity to go to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the opening, I mentioned it. Coming out of high school, you're recruited, and you actually began your collegiate career at Vanderbilt University, playing in the SEC, and you're actually on the offensive side of the ball. You play tight end, and I know that you played both tight end and defensive end in high school. But what was the recruiting process like for you coming out of high school? How did you ultimately land at Vanderbilt University?
Well, I had a lot of schools trying to recruit me, but I talked to the coaches at Vanderbilt, and I really felt like that was the place for me, that those coaches really had my best interest in mind and that they would help me really reach my true potential, my full potential, and grow completely. So when I took my visit there, the guys that I was on my visit with and that I ultimately ended up signing with, it just immediately felt like a family instead of a team. So that was really where I felt like I could grow at.
And then a couple of years later, Mack, you make the decision to transfer down to the FCS level. What was that whole period like for you when you made up the decision that you're going to transfer away from Vanderbilt? And ultimately, how did you decide Eastern Illinois would have been the best fit for you?
Well, it was a difficult choice. The original coaching staff from Vanderbilt left, so that ultimately sparked my decision to go ahead and leave. And then once going through the recruiting process again, I really just had to look at all the schools. I had to look at the competition that I'll play, the guys with, as well as the guys that I do. And I once again looked heavily and to the players that were there, and I really, enjoyed my visit there and got to know some of the guys there, and just felt like that was really my best opportunity to continue the game of football.
And again, your first couple of years at the collegiate level, dating back to your Vanderbilt days and even early on at your Eastern Illinois days, Mack, you played tight end. Again, you played defensive end, you played tight end at high school. How did the idea come about to play on the defensive line at Eastern Illinois, once again here at the collegiate level? How did that all come about, and what was your initial reaction? How did you ultimately buy in?
Well, you're right. I did start at the tight end. But to be honest, like you said, I played both in high school. So when I initially was asked to move to defensive end, I was perfectly fine with it. It wasn't anything new to me. And once I really got into it, I really started to enjoy, the ferociousness of defense and just having to go get the ball, that attitude. I really felt like that. Of course, I was okay at playing with tight end, but once I got to defensive end, I really felt like that really matched my attitude as far as a football player, and that really allowed me to just play how I really wanted to play and relax and get to it.
69 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks over the past 2 years. Back on that defensive line, Mack. Again, both, and I say on the defensive line because you played and you have experience at both defensive tackle and defensive end. How, if at all, did the fact of you playing on the offensive side of the ball, playing tight end, having experience on the opposite side of the ball, while playing on defense. How if at all, has that helped you when making this transition back to the defensive side of the ball, where you haven't seen any snaps, or you haven't had any experience since high school? How, if at all, did that help you? How did that help you at all? Just knowing the mindset of an offensive player. Again, I know you played tight end, but you probably know a little bit about the mindset of an offensive lineman as well. How did that help you in making this transition to the defensive side of the football?
Well, as far as tight end, going from tight end to defensive end, it really helped me because as a tight end, it takes a lot of a strong mental capacity really to play tight end, learning all the plays. And once I moved to defensive end, that experience really helped me because now not only was I able to learn the plays from a defensive standpoint, but I was able to read the cues of an offensive lineman, an offensive tight end. Really, as a defensive player, I could read their steps a lot easier. It was a lot easier for me to dissect the play and understand what direction the ball was going, or who's the key player on this specific alignment. So going from offense really helped me from a mental standpoint, but also from a physical standpoint, because now I know, depending on the play, what kind of block I'm going to get, who's going to block me, and all that. So it helped me in multiple ways.
No doubt about it, and you see that on the tape as well. Again, for somebody who didn't play the defensive line, or on the defensive side of the football at all really throughout your collegiate career until your junior year, I mean, it was quite impressive what you've been able to do there at Eastern Illinois. Now, Mack, I know that you participated in the Northwestern Pro Day. Do you by any chance have any of the numbers that you recorded at that Pro Day, and what was some of the feedback that you received from teams afterwards?
In my head, I know my 40 was a 4.87, and then my 3-cone, the L drill, was a 4.57, if I remember correctly. And then my shuttle was a 4.6 in the 4.6 area. But, some of the numbers, and they asked me, did I feel like I can do better, which obviously I feel like I could. But at the same time, a lot of the feedback was basically just to get ready for football. I was told I just need to continue to progress and get more versed in the position, seeing as, like you said, I've only played there for 2 full years in collegiate.
Now, is it defense or nothing? I know a lot of teams are kind of viewing you as a outside linebacker. Is it kind of that or nothing? Are teams still giving you a look at tight end possibly?
As of right now, all I've heard is defense, but I'm open to play anything. I played a lot of special teams this year and junior year, and while I was at Eastern. So a lot of the teams are really saying defense, but in my opinion, I'm open to anything. I still feel like I can adapt to any type of position that I need to play.
Sounds good. Again, we're chatting with Mack Weaver, the tight end turned defensive end / outside linebacker out of Eastern Illinois by way of Vanderbilt University here on the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show, 2018 NFL Draft Prospect right here, a name that you're going to need to know in the coming weeks. And Mack, I know that it's been reported that you met with the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, they view you as an outside linebacker. If you could, I mean, what's kind of the vibe that you're getting from teams? I know you're probably looked at as a day 3 prospect, but, is there a legitimate chance that you could hear your name called come day 3? I know you probably don't care where you land, don't care if it's, in the 6th, 7th round, or you get that undrafted free agent contract, but what's kind of the vibe you're getting, a little over three weeks away from the 2018 NFL Draft?
Well, at this point, all the scouts are still going to pro days. This should be the last week of pro days for everybody. So at this point, I've heard from a little feedback from some scouts saying that they know who I am, that they've reviewed over everything from my pro day, and now it's just time to watch the film. But I feel like there's a legitimate chance I might hear my name being called within those days. whether it be, on the TV being drafted, or if somebody just calling my phone saying, "Hey, we want you to come to camp, free agent." But like you said, it doesn't matter to me what day. I just feel like if I get that opportunity, I'm gonna make it count.
Absolutely. And hey, I've spoken to many guys over the years, and many guys that even went the undrafted route, and they say, hey, you know what? It was probably better that I went undrafted because I had 3-4 offers from different teams, and being selected by just one team in the 7th round, and sometimes as an undrafted guy, not if you make it this far, Mac, obviously money isn't really anything. You're chasing this to achieve your dream. You love the game of football, but sometimes even the undrafted guys get offered better contracts than the 6th or 7th rounders. But again, that's not what it's about. You're obviously here to achieve your dream and just to continue your football playing days. Now, obviously, Eastern Illinois has pumped some legit talent into the National Football League. Especially even just the past couple of years, Mac. I mean, what's it been like for you watching quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo kind of take the league by storm with his new team, the San Francisco 49ers? I know that isn't really somebody that you played with there at Eastern Illinois, but I gotta think it's still pretty cool to kind of see somebody that has kind of taken the same trail to the league as you're doing right now. In Jimmy Garoppolo, I believe a 2-time Super Bowl winning champion. And then, of course, somebody that you did indeed share the field with, linebacker Kamu Grugier-Hill, who was a part of last year's Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl winning team, had a major part in the special teams for the Philadelphia Eagles this past season. I mean, I got to think that it's brought some type of excitement not only to you, not only to the Eastern Illinois football team, but really the whole city or town of Charleston, Illinois.
Yeah, it's honestly been great. Coming from a school like Eastern, you never really hear about too many guys getting drafted or too many guys getting an opportunity in the league just based off of the size of the school and, the competition that we played. But just watching, for one, Jimmy go to the league and just, like you said, take it by storm and just been great. It gives me hope. Just a guy that, comes from the same type of situation that I come from as far as schools go, and really just not only getting the opportunity to play in the league, but just dominate at a high level and just be in such high demand. And then to watch Kamu, a guy that I played with, get drafted and then huge in that team. It's just been unbelievable, and it's just been real inspiring. It just lets me know that all my hard work, if I put the hard work in, it won't go unnoticed.
Yeah, and I remember I was in person at the Northwestern Pro Day a couple years back when Kamu Grugier-Hill absolutely dominated it, man. I mean, I knew he was quite an athlete, but I didn't know he was that type of athlete, and then teams were kind of looking at him to kind of switch positions like they're doing with you, Mac. I mean, they're kind of looking at him as a defensive back, a safety. The New England Patriots draft him in the 6th round, and then, he didn't make the final cuts. He was picked up off waivers by the Philadelphia Eagles, and the rest is history. Now playing a linebacker and a key special teams player at the next level. And with that question asked, Mac, I mean, teammates aside, whether it was your first couple of years playing in the SEC at Vanderbilt, or even these past couple of years in the FCS and the Ohio Valley Conference. Again, teammates aside, who do you feel is the best player that you've had to line up against over the years?
Probably one of the best players I've had to line up with over the years was honestly an offensive lineman. He actually was at Vanderbilt, and he actually just got, I think he just got signed, Wes Johnson. He was an offensive lineman. He was a center there. He really played on the entire offensive line, but I think he was one of the best guys that I've actually played against, which helped me a lot once I went to Eastern Illinois. It really helped me just, everybody else, there were a lot of good guys, but I don't really think that I think I've played anybody that kind of measured up to him as far as the complete package as an offensive lineman, and that just really helped me as far as toughness, and it just helped me, just know that no matter who I go up against, I can win.
And with that said, Mac, talk about the overall talent that you've played against in the FCS, in the Ohio Valley Conference. Again, coming into Eastern Illinois from the SEC at Vanderbilt. I feel like I've said that so many times, but again, I mean, it's not really all the time that you see an SEC guy transfer to. You see it quite often. An SEC guy transfer down to the FCS. You don't really see it very often where an SEC guy transfers to Eastern Illinois. So it's quite unique. But was the overall talent and competition in the Ohio Valley and in the FCS as a whole better than you had thought coming from the SEC?
I definitely did, and even just me being on the team with some guys, I really played with a couple of guys, that I really felt like whether they had come from a different school or played against some guys where I feel like if they might have been maybe an inch or so taller that they could have played in the SEC. So the competition going down was definitely a lot better than I thought it would be, but it was great because it allowed me to showcase my potential and my talents and everything, and not be looked down upon as playing lesser competition.
Again, he's Mack Weaver, the tight end turned defensive end / outside linebacker, 2018 NFL draft prospect out of Eastern Illinois University, joining us here on the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show. And Mack, just a couple more questions for you, and then we'll let you go. Really appreciate you taking some time out this evening.
No problem.
A couple pretty off the wall, I guess you could say, questions. I mean, this is going to be a very vague one. I kind of came up with it just last night, but I'm really curious. Or I'll go to the vague one after this one. I'll go with this one. Let's talk. Let's view your bucket list. All right, my man. I mean, what is one thing you'd like to knock off of your bucket list? What's something on your bucket list that you would like to achieve one day?
To be honest, it's kind of a simple one, but I really want to be able to go on a around the world trip, travel a little bit with get a good group of friends that I have, some guys that I grew up with, and really travel. It's kind of a simple bucket list right now, but I definitely think that that's something I want to do. Got a lot of people that have supported me and believed in me, so I want to be able to reward everybody and get some traveling out the way as well, see some sights.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Here's a vague one for you. Something that many people don't know about you, and you can kind of go any direction you want, whether it's football-wise, personal-wise. I mean, you take us wherever you want to go. Something that many people don't know about Mack Weaver.
Something that many people don't know about me. I'm a gamer, but as well, I like instruments and music. I'm a big music guy. I listen to all types of music. I love to play instruments and try to learn new instruments. I know how to play the piano pretty well, and a couple of songs on the recording and all that, of course. But I'm definitely a big music guy.
You might have to break out some of those skills when you're in the team room, with all your teammates at the next level. And, I don't know if they're going to ask you to play the piano or the recorder. They might ask you to sing. I mean, we've seen that from many rookies. Are you much of a singer?
Not much of a singer, but I can hold a tune if I need to.
All right. I love it. Hey, this is a question that was on my list here that I totally forgot to ask you, but, looking down the road, Mack, 10, 15 years down the road, how would you like to be remembered just as a collegiate football player? When Eastern Illinois alums are looking back at their football team or past football teams and they see Mack Weaver, or even Vanderbilt guys are looking back and they see Mack Weaver, what is the first few words you would like for them to think when your name pops into their mind?
Relentless. Honestly, that's definitely a big word that I want people to remember me for. A lot of transfer guys going down a division, or how that goes. A lot of people really don't expect much to happen or much to come of them. They expect a guy transferring down a level that he's just gonna get by. Honestly, at the next school that he transferred for a reason. But no, I want people to realize that even though I transferred, I still had the same that I had that got me to the SEC level, and that I'm going to take that with me everywhere I go.
Now, even though you did transfer, Mack, and let's say you do hear your name called in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, even if it goes undrafted, people are going to look you up. It's going to say Mack Weaver, Eastern Illinois. Although you did transfer from Vanderbilt University, do you still feel that you have that small school label attached to you heading into the next level? Does that give you an added chip on your shoulder? If so,
It definitely does. I'm not a Commodore anymore. I'm a Panther. I was labeled as a Panther or as a Commodore when I came out of high school, but once I transferred, I sort of had to gain that attitude. I'm not at a big school anymore. I'm at a smaller school that's somewhat unknown. So that definitely caused me to, get an attitude adjustment and change my attitude as far as how hard I had to go and just how much work it was going to take. So I definitely will take that chip on my shoulder with me, because that chip that I put on my shoulder, or that was placed on my shoulder once I transferred, is really what ultimately helped me become the type of athlete and the type of person I am right now. So I would definitely carry that with me.
no doubt about it. And as you said, somewhat of an unknown football program Eastern Illinois is, but they are certainly in the roots there in the NFL. Whether you want to look at the players, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kamu Grugier-Hill, of course Tony Romo recently retired, or the coaches. I mean, Sean Payton. Your former defensive coordinator is also with the Saints as well, or General Manager Ryan Pace here with the Chicago Bears. I mean, there is certainly Eastern Illinois roots in the NFL, and I look for them to only grow with yourself, Mack, and a couple of your teammates as well. Really rooting for Nick Horn as well, somebody that you shared the field with on the defensive side of the ball. So really looking forward to that. Final question for you, Mack. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're locked in. They're tuned into this very interview. Why should they want Mack Weaver, defensive end, outside linebacker out of Eastern Illinois, a part of their team?
Because I bring not only versatility as far as playing both sides of the ball, playing multiple positions on defense, as well as being a productive special teams player, but I can also bring leadership on and off the field. I've taken my time from Vanderbilt and Eastern Illinois, and I've taken all of that time, and I've matured, and I've grown, and I've taken everybody that I've met around me, and I've just learned how to interact with people as far as teammates go, coaches, everybody off the field. So I definitely can bring a lot to the team, a lot of charisma on the field, off the field.
Hey, sounds great. Again, the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers are already showing interest in you. If you're open to it, is there any other teams that might be on the radar for Mack Weaver?
As of right now, no other teams. A lot of the teams are just coming back, from scouting all the pro days and all that. But I look forward to hearing from many more.
Hey, sounds great, Mack. Really appreciate your time. I know you're really busy, especially this time of the month. Again, just a little over 3 weeks away from the 2018 NFL Draft. Congratulations, of course, on the successful collegiate career. Not only that, but opening a lot of eyes at the pro day as well down at Northwestern. And definitely wishing you all the best of luck in the coming weeks and into your NFL career, man.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.